Silence, darkness, then light. When Amina opened her eyes, she was no longer in the chamber beneath the Kaaba. She stood barefoot in an endless desert of black sand. Under a sky heavy with swirling stars, the Eye of Abraham pulsed in her hand, glowing like a miniature eclipse. But it wasn't the stone that illuminated the world, it was the truths it unveiled. Her body remained frozen in the physical world, standing motionless in the subterranean vault. But in her mind, she traveled. The first vision, a city of fire. She saw a time before Islam, before the Quraysh, before recorded faith. The eye was taken and hidden by a group that called themselves the Al-Sir, Guardians of the Secret. This, Amina realized, was the earliest form of the Black Veil. It was surrounded by tall obelisks covered in runes, and tribes from every corner of the earth gathered in reverence. But they weren't praying to Allah or any god she knew. But it was not division that separated religions, it was men twisting the truth for empire and ego. They were invoking something older, not a deity, but a force. The Kaaba wasn't a house of God, it was a conduit, a seal placed upon something beneath. The Kaaba stood then too, but it was raw, incomplete. The tribes argued, then fractured. Some wished to preserve the power, others feared it. The second vision, the betrayal of the caliph, screens flickering with her face. She wasn't speaking, but the world was listening. She was pulled forward through centuries. A young caliph, obsessed with unifying power under a single religious authority, stood before the Kaaba with the eye cradled in a golden frame. He had found it in a tomb near Damascus, and in secret, he had brought it here. Now she saw the Umayyad Caliphate, a time of opulence and political ambition. But when he held it, his mind unraveled. Visions of Abraham, Moses, Isa, Muhammad, all praying in one direction, one message, one divine source, spoken through many voices. Everything and nothing I was ready for. It's not done. That was only a whisper. The caliph dropped the eye, ordered it, hidden. His scholars wrote new scriptures. Old ones burned. The sect now fully formed as the Black Veil was given one mission: protect the silence. For truth cannot unite, it only shatters. Voices shouting in Arabic, metal slamming into stone. The third vision, the woman of no sect. Now Amina saw herself, standing atop a minaret in an unnamed city. People below her, confused. Riots in the streets. Layla stood beside her, holding what looked like the eye, but it wasn't glowing anymore. Behind them, Yusuf, older, face scarred, eyes filled with loss, watched the crowds with a mix of hope and sorrow. The scene cracked like glass. Reality snapped back. Amina, Yusuf, and Layla crawled through them in silence. The weight of the eye pulsing in Yusuf's satchel like a living heartbeat. Amina collapsed in the vault, gasping. The eye slipped from her hand and rolled to Yusuf, who caught it gently. Layla knelt beside her. What did you see? Amina blinked back. Tears. The courtyard was quiet, bathed in moonlight. Pilgrims moved peacefully nearby, unaware that just meters beneath their feet, the foundations of belief had been shaken. He looked older now, tired. The unbearable unity at the heart of all division. It haunted her with every step. But she also felt a growing dread, a sensation, like someone was walking too closely behind them. But we'll need to split up. I'll lead them away. You to go north. Yusuf placed the eye into a pouch lined with lead foil. Amina steadied her breathing, but the ground above trembled again, this time louder. They're here, Layla said. Do we run? Amina asked. Yusuf shook his head. We go through. He pulled back a panel in the vault wall, revealing a hidden tunnel narrow. Ancient crawl space dug centuries ago for the gatekeepers. I didn't want it to end like this. They vanished into the darkness just as the chamber above exploded in light and shrapnel. Behind them, the Kaaba's secret was safe for now. But Amina knew, you don't understand what you're dealing with. This truth, if it spreads, it won't just fracture faith, it will collapse it. Nations will fall. Blood will flood the streets. That I had chosen her, and it would speak again. Amina screamed and dropped beside him, cradling him as the eye rolled out of his satchel. The world isn't ready for what's inside that stone. The tunnels beneath Mecca twisted like veins through stone, narrow, suffocating, ancient. Behind them, the thunder of collapsing stone from the hidden chamber echoed like the city itself was groaning under the pressure of secrets finally stirred. Amina still reeled from the visions the eye had shown her, the voices, the truths, and that someone was Layla. They emerged into the cool night air through a concealed drainage gate near the Gate of one of the lesser-known entrances to the Masjid al. Yusuf limped his wound from an earlier skirmish, reopening slightly. All around her, life continued. Pilgrims prayed, guards patrolled, minarets sang with faith. We have to get out of the city, he said. Layla stared out at the Kaaba in the distance, its black drape shimmering. I know someone who can get us out past the checkpoints, she said slowly. Amina hesitated. Layla? Are you sure? But before she could finish, a sharp, mechanical click echoed behind her. Amina froze. She turned slowly to see Layla holding a compact pistol, standard issue, Black Veil design. Her hands shook, but her eyes were hard. I'm sorry, she said. Yusuf moved, fast, but not fast enough. A suppressed shot rang out. Yusuf cried out, staggering to the ground. The bullet had torn through his side. Blood spilled into the dust. Layla stepped forward and picked it up with reverence. Amina's voice trembled. "You were one of us. You believed." "I still do," Layla said, her voice breaking. "But belief isn't enough. You're not protecting the truth," Amina spat. "You're enslaving it, just like they did." Tears welled in Layla's eyes, but she turned and walked away toward the great gate of Ibrahim, where a black SUV waited. Just before stepping into it, she looked back. "Forgive me, Amina, but you were never meant to open the vault." And then she was gone. Amina ripped off part of her robe to stop Yusuf's bleeding. He was slipping into unconsciousness, his breathing shallow. "Stay with me," she whispered. "You said we'd finish this together?" Yusuf opened his eyes. "There's another way in. The Kaaba. The heart, where the truth was sealed, not the eye." The voices. He passed out before finishing the sentence. Amina looked up at the towering mosque, its lights radiant and indifferent. And beneath it all, a betrayal had unfolded that would change everything. But Amina was not broken. If Layla had taken the eye to silence the truth, then Amina would rise to speak it, even if it meant becoming the enemy of every institution she had ever loved.